Admiral June stood at the viewing window of her ship, the Starbreaker. The stars stretched out before her like countless diamonds on black cloth. Her uniform, dark blue with silver markings of her rank, was perfect in every way. Not a wrinkle, not a speck of dust, just like her record of service to the Galactic Alliance. "Admiral," called a voice from behind her. "The Council's message is ready." She turned to face her chief scientist, Dai. He was tall and thin, with quick hands and quicker eyes. Those eyes now looked worried. "Display it here," June ordered, her voice calm and cold. The air in front of her sparkled, and then the face of High Commander Kim appeared. His old face was stern, with deep lines around his mouth. "Admiral June," he said, "you have served the Alliance well. 17 worlds have fallen to your tactics. Now we need your skills once more." June stood straighter. "I am ready, High Commander. A primitive planet blocks our path to the outer systems. It sits on a keyed hyperspace junction that we must control. The planet is called Earth." A small blue world appeared next to Kim's face. It spun slowly, showing continents and vast oceans. "The life forms there have basic technology, but nothing that can stop our ships. You will remove this obstacle." June understood what he meant. Remove. Destroy. End all life. "How many ships will I command for this task?" she asked. Kim's expression did not change. "Just your Starbreaker. These primitives have no space defense. One ship is more than enough." The message ended, and June turned back to the stars. 17 worlds. Soon, 18. "Set course for this Earth," she told Da. "I want all information we have on this planet." "Yes, Admiral." Da hesitated. "There is something unusual about this world. The reports say the dominant species keeps other creatures in their homes, not as food, but as companions." June raised an eyebrow. "How strange. But it doesn't matter. Their ways will be gone soon." As Dad left, something soft brushed against June's leg. She looked down to see Bori, her black cat, looking up at her with golden eyes. June allowed herself a small smile, her one weakness. She bent down and stroked the cat's fur. "Soon, we will have another victory to celebrate," she told Bori. The cat purred but seemed to watch her with unusual focus. In the weapons control room, Todd checked the ship's massive destruction cannons. Each one could reduce a city to ash in seconds. All 17 were ready. "Everything is prepared, Admiral," he reported when June entered. "Earth will fall like all the others." "Good," she said. "Our arrival time? 3 days at maximum speed." June nodded. "Begin the pre-attack protocols. I want standard observation before we strike. Learn their weaknesses, though I doubt we will need such information." A soft bark echoed in the room. Maru, the ship's therapy dog, trotted in. His brown fur was brushed perfectly, the blue collar marking him as ship personnel gleaming against it. Many officers found his presence calming. June tolerated him because the crew performed better with him around. Todd patted the dog's head. "Even Maru seems ready for battle." June watched as the dog sat, his intelligent eyes moving between the officers. "Remember, this is simply a task. Earth is an obstacle to be removed. We do not question the Council's orders." "Never, Admiral," Ta said quickly. "The Alliance expands. That is the way." Later, in her private quarters, June reviewed the data on Earth, such a small planet with simple people. Their most advanced weapons could barely reach their own moon. They would have no defense against the Starbreaker. Bori jumped onto her desk, walking across the screen showing Earth's image. "Move, cat," June said, but not unkindly. Bori stared at her, then at the image of Earth. For a moment, June felt strange, as if the cat was judging her. Ridiculous, of course. She pushed such thoughts away and returned to her plans. In the corner of her room, a small device hidden in Bori's spare collar blinked once, sending a silent signal racing through space toward the blue planet that would soon be in their sights. A signal carried a simple message. She comes. The destroyer of worlds approaches Earth. Prepare the defenses. The hour we trained for is here. Bori watched the Admiral work, his tail swishing slowly back and forth. 17 worlds had fallen to this woman. Earth would not be the 18th. Earth grew larger on the main screen as the Starbreaker entered the solar system. Admiral Jun watched the blue planet with cold eyes. It looked so small, so weak. Begin the 3-day observation, she ordered. Send out the drones. I want to know everything about their defenses. Day nodded and pressed buttons on his control panel. Small, silver machines shot out from the ship. They looked like metal birds as they flew toward Earth. The drones will be invisible to their radar, Daz said. They won't know we're watching. Jun nodded. Good. And our ship? Hidden behind their moon, Tai answered. Their technology is too primitive to detect us here. Jun walked to her command chair and sat down. Another simple mission. Soon Earth would be gone, just like the 17 worlds before it. In Jun's private quarters, Bori the cat sat on her bed. His eyes were fixed on the door. When he was sure no one was coming, he jumped down and went to the small vent in the wall. With his paw, he pressed a hidden spot on the metal. The vent slid open. Bori slipped inside. The small tunnel led to a secret room inside the ship. This room did not appear on any map. Only Bori and Maru knew about it. Maru the dog was already there, sitting in front of a glowing screen. She sent the drones, Bori said. His voice was deep and clear, not like a cat at all. Maru nodded. I know. I saw them launch. Earth's pets must be warned. Bori touched the screen with his paw. A map of Earth appeared. I must go down there. The Council of Companions needs to know exactly what we're facing. It's dangerous, Maru said. What if someone notices you're gone? Bori's whiskers twitched. I'll be quick. Can you cause some problems with the ship's systems? We need to slow down Jun's attack. Maru wagged his tail. Already done. The targeting system will have some issues. Admiral Jun frowned at the reports coming in from the drones. Earth was primitive. Yes, but something was strange. Look at this, Day said, pointing to images on the screen. The humans keep animals everywhere, in their homes, on their streets. Some even sleep with them in their beds. Jun looked at the pictures. Dogs walked with humans on leashes. Cats sat in windows. Birds lived in cages inside homes. Are they food? She asked. No, Daz said, sounding confused. They call them pets. They care for them, give them names, treat them almost like family. Ta laughed. How weak, spending resources on useless creatures. Jun stared at the images. It doesn't matter. Their strange habits will die with them. She turned to leave. I'll be in my quarters. Prepare the weapons for tomorrow's first strike. When Jun entered her room, she noticed something was wrong right away. Bori was not there. The cat always greeted her when she returned. Bori, she called. No answer. Strange, she thought. The cat had never disappeared before. She checked under the bed, in the bathroom, everywhere. No cat. Her communication device beeped. Admiral, came Ta's voice. We have a problem with the targeting systems. They keep resetting. Jun frowned. Fix it. I want those weapons ready by morning. We're trying, but it's like something is interfering with the computers. After the call ended, Jun sat on her bed, thinking. First her cat disappears, then the weapons malfunction. Was it connected? No, impossible. Bori was just a cat. Far below, on Earth's surface, Bori materialized in a large basement. The room was filled with animals. Dogs of all sizes, cats, birds, even some hamsters. They all turned to look at the new arrival. An old golden retriever stepped forward. This was Haru, leader of the Council of Companions. Bori, Haru said. What news from above? The Starbreaker is here, Bori reported. Admiral Jun plans to destroy Earth in 3 days. A sleek black cat named Nari jumped onto the table in the center of the room. Then we must activate the planetary defense grid. All companions must alert their humans without revealing our true nature. Maru is creating delays on the ship, Bori said. But I must return soon before June notices I'm gone. Haru nodded his old head. Go. We will begin our work here. For thousands of years, we have protected this planet. We will not fail now. Bori looked around at the assembled animals. The Alliance has destroyed 17 worlds, but they have never faced Earth's secret defenders before. A small device on Bori's collar glowed blue. It was time to return to the ship, to return to being just a cat in the eyes of Admiral June. But soon, very soon, she would learn the truth. The truth that Earth's pets were not what they seemed. The basement under the old bookstore was bigger than it looked from outside. Maps of Earth covered the walls. Screens showed the position of the Starbreaker behind the moon. Dozens of animals moved around with purpose. Haru, the old golden retriever, limped to the center table. His fur was gray around the muzzle, but his eyes were sharp and clear. For 10,000 years, we have watched over humans, he said to the gathered animals. They took us into their homes, gave us love, and never knew we were their guardians. Nari, the black cat, jumped onto the table. Her tail swished back and forth as she studied the map of Earth. The signal has gone out to all companions, she said. From house cats to farm dogs, from pet birds to stable horses. All are ready. Bori nodded, but we must work fast. Admiral June has destroyed many worlds. She will not stop unless we make her. A small white dog stepped forward. This was Sook, the communication expert. The human devices are easy to use. We have sent warnings that look like system errors to their computers, phones, and televisions. Small things, but enough to make them careful. Haru looked at Bori. Tell us about this admiral. Can she be reasoned with? Bori's ears went flat against his head. She is cold, efficient, but, he paused. She is kind to me. There is something in her that might listen, if we can reach it. And the other one, the therapy dog, asked Nari. Maru is working to connect with her emotions. It is slow work. Haru walked to a large machine in the corner. It was old but well-maintained, with lights that blinked in patterns. The defense grid was built by the first companions who came to Earth. It has never been fully activated before. He pressed his paw to the machine. It hummed louder. Now, he said, we must wake it up. Back on the Starbreaker, Admiral June stared at the screen in frustration. The targeting system was still not working right. Every time the technicians fixed it, something else broke. This is not acceptable, she told Ta. The High Commander expects results. We're trying, Admiral, Ta said. His forehead was covered in sweat. But it's like the ship is fighting us. June turned to look out the window at Earth. Such a small planet. Why was it causing so many problems? The door opened and Maru walked in. The therapy dog went straight to Tai and put his head on the man's knee. Tai automatically reached down to pet him. His breathing slowed and some tension left his shoulders. June watched this with interest. The dog always seemed to know who needed calming. Useful, even if it was just an animal. Where is Security Officer Han? She asked. Checking the ventilation systems, Tay replied. He found strange energy readings there. Just then, the door opened again. Bori slipped into the room and jumped onto a chair. The cat looked exactly as always, calm and dignified. June felt relief, though she would never admit it. My cat has returned, she noted. At least something is going right. Bori blinked slowly at her, just a normal cat, or so it seemed. On Earth, in thousands of homes across every continent, pets began acting strangely. Dogs stood watch at windows, their eyes fixed on the sky. Cats knocked important papers off desks, revealing maps and escape routes underneath. Birds sang unusual patterns that sounded almost like code. In a small apartment in Seoul, A woman named Sue watched her goldfish swim in perfect figure eights over and over. She had never seen them do that before. In New York, a man named Lee found his dog had somehow turned on the emergency radio broadcast system. In London, a boy noticed his hamster had arranged small pebbles in its cage to form what looked like a small model of the solar system, with something large hiding behind the moon. Humans everywhere began to feel uneasy, though they didn't know why. They checked the news more often. They stored a little extra food. They kept their pets closer. Security Officer Han crawled through the narrow ventilation shaft. His scanner had picked up energy readings that made no sense. The readings were strongest near the Admiral's quarters and the ship's computer core. "Find anything?" came Tada's voice through his communicator. "Nothing yet," Han answered. "But something is definitely." He stopped. There, on the metal floor of the shaft, was a single black cat hair. Next to it was a dog hair. Han frowned. How would pet hair get this far into the ventilation system? The animals shouldn't be able to access these areas. A soft noise came from around the corner. Han moved forward carefully, his light pointing ahead. The shaft was empty, but on the wall was a small device he had never seen before. It wasn't Alliance technology. It was blinking with a faint blue light, sending out a signal. Han reached for it just as all the lights on the Starbreaker flickered. The hunt for the truth had begun. Admiral June walked through the halls of the Starbreaker, her steps quick and angry. 2 days had passed since they arrived at Earth, and still the weapons would not work properly. The ship felt wrong somehow, as if it had turned against her. "Report," she snapped as she entered the bridge. Ta stood at attention. The targeting system came online for 10 minutes, then failed again. Engineering cannot explain it. June slammed her fist on the control panel. Unacceptable. The High Commander expected Earth to be destroyed by now. Day looked up from his science station. "Admiral, I found something unusual in the Earth data. Their animals seem to be acting strangely all over the planet." "Animals?" June frowned. "Why would that matter?" "I don't know, but look." Dai showed her the screen. Dogs were gathering in parks. Cats sat on windowsills facing the moon. Birds flew in perfect circles above major cities. "Probably sensing our presence somehow," Jun said dismissively. "Simple creatures can often detect danger." The door opened and Maru trotted in, tail wagging. It was time for Jun's daily therapy session with the dog. She had tried to cancel, but the ship's doctor insisted it was important for her mental health. "Fine," Jun sighed. "I'll take a break, but I want solutions when I return." In Jun's private quarters, she sat stiffly on the floor. Maru sat in front of her, brown eyes watching her carefully. "This is a waste of time," she told the dog. "I should be fixing the ship." Maru tilted his head, then moved closer. He put his paw on her hand. Something strange happened then. June felt a wave of calm wash over her. Images flashed in her mind. A small girl playing with a puppy, laughing. A woman crying into the fur of an old dog. A man walking along a beach with his cat on his shoulder. June pulled her hand away, shocked. What was that? Maru just wagged his tail. He was just a dog, after all. But for the first time, June found herself wondering, what was it like on those 17 worlds she had destroyed? Had there been animals there too? Creatures that cared for each other? She shook her head. Such thoughts were dangerous. She had her orders. Security Officer Han placed the strange device on the table in the lab. He had found 3 more in the ventilation system. "It's like nothing I've seen before," he told Da. "I think it's some kind of transmitter." Day scanned it with his tools. "The technology is very advanced. More advanced than ours." "Impossible," Han said. "Earth is primitive." "Then where did it come from?" Dai asked. The door opened and Bori walked in, tail high. The cat jumped onto the table and sniffed at the device. "Shoo," Han said, waving his hand. "This is not for animals." But Dai was watching the cat with narrowed eyes. "That's interesting. The cat seems very focused on this technology." Bori meowed and batted at the device with his paw. "Stop that." Han picked up the cat. As he did, he noticed something. "Look at the cat's collar. There's a small piece of metal there that looks similar to these devices." Day leaned closer. "You're right. Admiral Jun should know about this." In the ventilation shaft above them, a tiny robot shaped like a mouse watched. It had been created by the Council of Companions. Inside it was a camera and microphone that sent everything back to Earth. Nari watched the feed from the basement headquarters. "They are suspicious of Bori. This is not good." Haru nodded. "It's time for the next phase. Send the signal." Suk pressed a button on the control panel. Signal sent. All companions across Earth will begin Phase 2. On screens around them, they watched as pets around the world sprang into action. Dogs pulled their owners toward emergency supplies. Cats knocked over important items to get attention. Birds flew in patterns that pointed to safe locations. And deep beneath the ground, ancient machines that had been sleeping for thousands of years began to power up. Back on the Starbreaker, the lights flickered again. Then the main screen came to life by itself. It showed images from Earth, a child hugging a dog, an old woman sharing food with her cat, a man being led to safety by his guide dog. "What is this?" Jum demanded. "Who activated this program?" "No one, Admiral," Ta said, looking confused. "It just started playing on every screen on the ship." June watched the images. Something about them made her feel strange, empty somehow. Her own world had no such relationships. The Alliance had moved beyond such things long ago. "Turn it off," she ordered. But the images kept playing. In her quarters, Maru sat in front of a small panel he had opened with his teeth, his paw pressed on a hidden button. The dog's eyes were focused and intelligent, not like a normal animal at all. The infiltration was working. Now they just needed more time. "Admiral, we found something strange on the cat's collar." June looked up from her desk as Han and Dai entered her quarters. Bori was held firmly in Han's arms, looking unusually calm for a cat being restrained. "My cat?" June frowned. "What about him?" Dai stepped forward, holding a small scanning device. "There's technology in his collar that matches the strange devices we found in the ventilation system." June's eyes narrowed. She reached out and took Bori from Han's arms. The cat settled into her lap, purring as if nothing was wrong. "Scan the collar," she ordered. Day ran his scanner over the blue collar around Bori's neck. Numbers and strange symbols appeared on the screen. "This is impossible," Dai whispered. "This technology is far beyond anything the Alliance has developed." June stared at her cat. For 2 years, Bori had been with her, slept on her bed, been her only companion through long space journeys. Could he be something more than a simple pet? "Remove the collar," she ordered. When Han reached for it, Bori suddenly hissed and jumped away. The cat ran to the corner of the room, back arched. "Seize him," Jum commanded. But before Han could reach the cat, the lights in the room went out. When they came back on 3 seconds later, Bori was gone. "Find that cat," June shouted. "Lock down the ship." In the secret room inside the ventilation system, Bori met with Maru. The cat's fur was standing on end, his tail lashing back and forth. "They know about my collar," Bori said. "Our cover is at risk." Maru nodded his dog head. "Then we must move faster. Did you bring the Earth technology?" Bori used his teeth to open a hidden pocket in his collar. Tiny metal dots fell out, each no bigger than a grain of sand. "Microcomputers from the Council," Bori explained. "Each one can hack into the ship's systems and show them the truth about Earth." Maru picked up one of the dots with his careful teeth. "I'll place these near the bridge. You take some to the engine room." "What about your therapy sessions with June?" Bori asked. "I'm making progress," Maru said. "She's beginning to question things. I can feel it when I touch her mind." Bori's whiskers twitched. "Be careful. If they discover what you can do." "They won't," Maru promised. Now hurry. We have less than a day before they fix the weapons. Admiral June stood on the bridge, watching as security teams searched every corner of the ship for her missing cat. How can one animal be so hard to find? She demanded. Tai looked nervous. Admiral, there's something else. We're picking up strange radio signals from Earth. They're not coming from human cities. What do you mean? June asked. The signals are coming from animal groups, packs of dogs, colonies of cats, even from oceans where dolphins swim. June stared at the map showing the signal sources. It made no sense. Are Earth's animals communicating with each other? Before anyone could answer, every screen on the bridge changed. The normal ship displays disappeared. Instead, they showed scenes from Earth, children playing with puppies, old people sitting with cats in their laps, birds landing on people's shoulders, horses carrying humans gently across fields. What is this? Joan demanded. Who's controlling the displays? No one, Admiral, Daz said, typing frantically at his console. It's happening on every screen on the ship, even in the crew quarters. The images change to show Earth's beautiful landscapes, forests where humans walked with their dogs, beaches where people swam with dolphins, homes where cats and humans slept peacefully together. Turn it off, June ordered. But the images kept coming, and with them came a feeling. Warm, comforting, strange to June's cold military mind. It was the feeling of connection, of love between different species. Admiral, Daz said quietly, I've been studying Earth culture. These relationships between humans and animals, they're unique in the galaxy. No other world we've encountered has this kind of bond between species. June watched a scene of a human saving a drowning dog, then the same dog later pulling a child from danger. They help each other, she said slowly. They protect each other. Yes, Da nodded. It's remarkable. It's beautiful. June thought of Bori, of how the cat would sit with her when she was troubled, of how his purring would calm her mind after difficult missions. Had there been more to that than she realized? The door to the bridge opened. Security Officer Han entered, looking worried. Admiral, he said, we found more of those devices. They're everywhere on the ship now. And there's something else. He held out his hand. In it was a tiny metal disc, smaller than a fingernail. We found this in the main computer. It's Earth technology. But it's more advanced than anything we thought they had. The crew of the Starbreaker gathered in small groups throughout the ship. They whispered to each other, their faces showing worry and doubt. For hours, they had watched the images from Earth on every screen. They had seen how humans and animals lived together, how they helped each other, how they loved each other. Day stood in the science lab, surrounded by 5 other officers. They were his friends, people he trusted. We can't destroy this world, he said quietly. It's different from the others. Officer Min nodded. Those animals, they have something special with the humans. I've never seen anything like it. The Admiral has her orders, said Officer Jun, though he didn't sound convinced. The Alliance needs that hyperspace junction. Day shook his head. There must be another way. We should at least talk to her. The door opened, and they all jumped. But it was only Maru, the therapy dog. He walked in, tail wagging, and sat in the middle of their circle. Day looked at the dog carefully. You know, I'm starting to think these Earth animals are much smarter than they seem. Maru barked once, as if in agreement. Admiral June stood on the bridge, staring at the blue planet on the main screen. The deadline was approaching. In just 6 hours, she was supposed to fire the weapons and destroy Earth. Admiral, called Tai from his station. The weapons are finally online. We're ready to fire. June didn't respond right away. She was thinking about those scenes from Earth, about the strange feeling they had stirred in her. Admiral, Ta prompted. Proceed with targeting, she said at last. Her voice was flat. The door to the bridge opened. Dai entered, followed by several other officers. Even as they approached, June noticed something strange. Crew members all over the bridge were standing up, moving away from their stations. "Admiral June," Day said, his voice steady but nervous. "We need to talk about this mission." June turned to face them. "There is nothing to discuss. We have our orders." "This planet is different," Day insisted. "You've seen it yourself. The way they live with their animals, the bonds they form. It's unique in the galaxy." Officer Min stepped forward. "We've destroyed 17 worlds. Each time, we were told they were just obstacles. But this time, we can see what we're destroying. And it's beautiful." June's face hardened. "This is mutiny." "It's conscience," Dag corrected. "Something the Alliance forgot long ago." June looked around the bridge. Nearly half the crew stood with Da. The others looked uncertain. "Return to your posts," she ordered. "That's an order." Slowly, reluctantly, some of the crew obeyed. Others stayed with Da. June turned to Ta. "Prepare to fire the main weapons." Ta hesitated, his hand hovering over the control panel. "That's an order, weapons officer," June said coldly. Ta lowered his hand to the panel, but before he could press the firing sequence, every light on the ship went out. Complete darkness filled the bridge. Then, a soft blue glow appeared in the center of the room. It grew brighter, taking the shape of a sphere. Within the sphere, an image formed. The lights came back on, but dimly. The blue sphere continued to glow, floating in the air. "What is happening?" June demanded. "Who is doing this?" As if in answer, the door to the bridge opened once more. Maru walked in. Around his neck, his collar was glowing with the same blue light as the sphere. The dog walked to the center of the room and sat directly beneath the floating sphere. Then, to everyone's shock, he spoke. "Admiral June," said Maru, his voice deep and clear. "It's time you learned the truth about Earth." The bridge erupted in chaos. Officers jumped back from the talking dog. Some reached for weapons. Others simply stared in disbelief. June stood frozen, her mind struggling to accept what she was seeing and hearing. You can talk," she whispered. "I always could," Maru replied. "Just as Bori can. Just as all the pets of Earth can when they choose to." The blue sphere expanded, showing images of Earth's history. Ancient wolves becoming dogs. Wild cats entering human settlements. Birds living in human homes. "For thousands of years," Maru continued, "we have lived alongside humans. Not as their masters or slaves, but as their companions. Their protectors. Their friends." June stared at the dog she had thought was just an animal. "What are you?" "We are the companions," Maru said simply. "And we will not let you destroy our home." The bridge of the Starbreaker was completely silent. Every officer stared at Maru, the dog who had just spoken in a clear, intelligent voice. Admiral June stood rigid, her mind racing to understand what was happening. "This is some trick," she finally said. "Some Earth technology making you appear to speak." Maru shook his head. "No trick, Admiral. I am exactly what I appear to be, a dog. But I am also much more." The blue sphere floating above him expanded. Inside it appeared images of planets, beautiful worlds with forests and oceans. "Long ago," Maru continued, "intelligent life evolved on many worlds. Some, like your ancestors, chose the path of technology and conquest. Others, like the companions, chose a different way. The images showed animals of all kinds, creatures like dogs, cats, birds, and others June had never seen before. We discovered that by forming bonds with other species, we could create something greater than either could achieve alone. Emotional intelligence, Admiral. Not just machines and weapons, but understanding, empathy, and love." June's face remained cold. "Love doesn't win wars." "No," Maru agreed, "but it can prevent them." The door to the bridge opened again. Bori walked in, tail high. Behind him came several other animals, the pets of various crew members. A small white rabbit, a colorful bird, even a tiny lizard, all moved with clear purpose. These are all. Da couldn't finish the question. Yes, Bori spoke for the first time. We are all companions. We have lived among you, watching and learning. The blue sphere now showed Earth as seen from space. Earth is unique in the galaxy, Maru explained. It is the only planet where two intelligent species evolved side by side and chose cooperation over domination. Humans didn't force animals to be their slaves. Animals didn't try to overthrow humans. Instead, they formed a partnership. Images appeared of humans throughout history with their animal companions. Cave people with wolves, ancient farmers with cats, sailors with birds, explorers with horses. Every other advanced civilization in the galaxy evolved from a single dominant species that destroyed or enslaved all competitors. Bori added, including your alliance. This made them strong in technology, but weak in empathy. June looked around at her crew. Many were nodding, moved by what they were seeing. Why are you telling us this? She asked. Because, Maru said, Earth isn't just a planet in your way. It's the last place in the galaxy where true partnership between species exists. The last place where beings choose to care for each other without being forced to. The sphere changed again, showing the 17 worlds Jun had previously destroyed. On each one, there had been animals too, creatures that might have become companions, given time. You've taken enough worlds, Bori said. We will not let you take ours. June squared her shoulders. You speak well for animals, but the Alliance needs that hyperspace junction. The High Commander's orders are clear. And if we refuse to let you destroy our world, asked Maru. You cannot stop a battleship, Jun replied. Maru walked closer to her, looking up into her eyes. Can't we? Your weapon systems are offline. Your engines are locked. Your communications are cut off. How? Jun demanded. The defense grid, Bori explained, built thousands of years ago by the first companions who came to Earth. It's been sleeping, waiting for a threat like you. Maru placed his paw on Jun's boot. But there's something else you should know, Admiral. Suddenly, Jun felt a wave of emotions that were not her own. Images flowed into her mind. Maru comforting her after difficult missions, sitting with her when she felt alone, watching over her while she slept. For 2 years, I have been your companion. Maru's voice spoke in her mind. I have felt your joy, your pain, your doubts. Would you destroy me as easily as you would destroy Earth? Memories came flooding back. Maru bringing her a blanket when she fell asleep at her desk. Maru nudging her hand when she forgot to eat. Small moments of connection that she had dismissed as simple animal behavior. When Maru removed his paw, Jun staggered backward, her face pale. You were in my mind, she whispered. I showed you what was already there. Maru replied gently. The bond we formed, even though you didn't recognize it. Jun looked around at her crew, at Day, whose eyes pleaded with her, at Tai, who had stepped away from the weapon's controls, at the animals who watched her with intelligent, waiting eyes. Then she looked back at Earth, shining blue and green on the screen. For the first time in her military career, Admiral Jun didn't know what to do. Admiral Jun sat alone in her quarters. After what happened on the bridge, she had ordered everyone to leave her. She needed to think. On her desk, reports from the ship's engineers told the same story. All weapons were locked. All engines were disabled. The Starbreaker, the most powerful ship in the Alliance fleet, had been defeated by Earth's animals. The door chimed softly. Enter, Jun said, not looking up. Day stepped in, holding a datapad. Admiral, I've been studying the information about Earth that the companions shared with us. It's amazing. Jun didn't respond. Did you know, Da continued, that humans will risk their lives to save their animal companions? They run into burning buildings. They jump into frozen lakes. They spend huge amounts of money when their pets are sick. Why? Jun finally asked. Love, Da said simply. They call it love. June looked up. The Alliance gave up such emotions long ago. They make us weak. Do they? Dai placed the data pad on her desk. Look at these. June activated the pad. Videos began to play. A dog pulling a child from a river. A cat alerting sleeping humans to a fire. A horse carrying an injured person to safety. Earth has something no other world in the galaxy has, Dai said. 2 different species willing to die for each other, not because they must, but because they choose to. After Dai left, June sat for a long time, watching video after video. The relationship between humans and animals seemed so strange, yet somehow familiar. A soft sound came from the doorway. Bori sat there, watching her with golden eyes. "Come to check on your prisoner," June asked bitterly. The cat walked into the room and jumped onto her desk. "You are not a prisoner, Admiral. You are at a crossroads." June studied the cat that had lived with her for 2 years. "Were you ever really my pet?" "I was your companion," Bori corrected. "And yes, those moments were real. When I slept on your bed during long space journeys. When I sat with you as you wrote reports. When I purred as you stroked my fur. Those weren't acts." June reached out slowly and touched Bori's head. The cat pushed against her hand, purring just as he always had. "I've destroyed 17 worlds," June whispered. "Did they all have companions?" "Some did," Bori said, "but none like Earth. Earth is special." The door opened again, and Maru walked in. The dog came to her side and placed his head on her knee, just as he had done during countless therapy sessions. "You were in my mind," June said to him. "You know all my thoughts." "Not all," Maru replied. "Just what you felt when we connected. Your loneliness, your doubts about the missions, your secret wish for something more than endless war." June's hand trembled as she touched Maru's soft fur. "The High Command will not accept failure. They will send another ship, another admiral." "Perhaps," Maru agreed, "but they will find the same defense waiting. And perhaps by then, they will have learned from you." "From me?" June looked confused. "From what you decide now," Bori explained. June's communication device beeped loudly. The sound filled the quiet room. It was the call she had been expecting. Slowly, she answered it. The stern face of High Commander Kim appeared. "Admiral June," he said, his voice hard. "You are late with your report. Has Earth been destroyed?" June looked at Bori sitting calmly on her desk, at Maru with his head still on her knee. Then she looked at the screen showing Earth, beautiful and blue. "No, High Commander," she said, "and it will not be destroyed." Kim's face darkened with anger. "Explain yourself, Admiral." "Earth is now under my protection," June said, her voice growing stronger. "I declare it a protected world under Alliance law." "You have no authority." "I have the authority granted to any admiral facing unique circumstances," June interrupted. "This world has value beyond the hyperspace junction. Scientific value. Cultural value. You will be court-martialed for this," Kim shouted. "Perhaps," June agreed. "But first, I suggest you view the data I'm sending you. About Earth. About its people. About its companions." She pressed a button, sending all the videos and information that Dai had collected. "You've gone soft, Admiral," Kim said with disgust. June placed one hand on Bori's back and the other on Maru's head. "No, High Commander. For the first time, I found something worth protecting instead of destroying." After the call ended, June sat back in her chair. What she had done would change her life forever. She might lose her rank, her ship, everything she had worked for. Yet somehow, with Bori purring under her hand and Maru's loyal eyes looking up at her, she felt strangely at peace. "What happens now?" she asked her companions. "Now," Maru said, "we introduce you properly to Earth." 6 months had passed since the day Admiral June decided to protect Earth instead of destroying it. Now she stood in the Great Hall of the Alliance Council, 50 stern faces looked down at her from their high seats. June wore her full uniform, with all 17 victory medals still on her chest. But she stood differently now, her back straight, not with military stiffness, but with new purpose. "Admiral June," said High Commander Kim, "you stand before this council, accused of disobeying direct orders. How do you answer?" "I made the right choice," June said simply. "Earth must be protected." Murmurs filled the hall. Behind June stood Da and Tai, who had chosen to support her. But it was those who stood beside her that caused the most whispers. On her right was Maru, sitting tall and dignified. On her left was Bori, his tail wrapped neatly around his paws. And beside them stood 2 humans, a woman and a man from Earth. "You bring animals to the council chamber?" one counselor asked, his voice full of disgust. "Not just animals," Jum corrected. "Companions and representatives of Earth." High Commander Kim frowned. "This is highly irregular. The Alliance does not recognize Earth as a member world." "Not yet," June agreed. "But today, that will change." She stepped forward. "For hundreds of years, the Alliance has expanded by conquering worlds and taking resources. We've destroyed 17 planets that stood in our way. But Earth showed me a different path." Bori stepped forward. To the shock of the council, he spoke. "I am Bori, representative of the Companion Council of Earth. We have watched your alliance grow through violence and fear. We offer another way." The council chamber erupted in chaos. Some counselors jumped to their feet. Others called for guards. "Silence," Kim shouted, and the room gradually quieted. What is this creature?" "I am a cat," Bori said simply, "but also a companion. For thousands of years, we have lived alongside humans, forming bonds of mutual respect and love." Maru joined him. "Earth is unique in the galaxy. The only world where different intelligent species chose cooperation over domination." The human woman stepped forward. She was Dr. Park, a scientist chosen to represent Earth. "When Admiral June's ship appeared over our world, we were defenseless against your weapons. But our companions activated ancient defenses built to protect our special relationship. Earth doesn't need to be destroyed for your hyperspace junction," June explained. "We can work together. The humans have technology that complements our own, and the companions have wisdom we lost long ago." Kim looked unconvinced. Why should we trust these talking animals? For all we know, they control the humans like puppets. Dr. Park laughed. "No one who has ever owned a cat would think cats want to control anyone. They barely listen to us." Bori made a small sound that might have been a laugh. "Exactly. Our relationship is by choice, not control. That's what makes it special." The second human, a young man named Professor Lee, opened a small device. Images filled the air, showing humans and animals working together throughout history. "We are stronger together than apart. We want to share this gift with the Alliance." June stepped forward one last time. "Members of the Council, I propose a new alliance, not based on conquest, but on cooperation. Earth will share its hyperspace junction and its unique knowledge. In return, the Alliance will recognize Earth as a protected world." "And if we refuse?" asked Kim. Maru's eyes were calm but firm. "Then you will find that Earth is not as defenseless as you think. Our planetary defenses can be activated again if needed." The council chambers grew quiet as the counselors whispered among themselves. Finally, their leader spoke. "This is unprecedented. We need time to consider." June nodded. "Take the time you need. Earth has waited thousands of years for this moment. But know this, I stand with Earth now, as do many in your fleet who have learned the truth." As they left the council chamber, June felt lighter than she had in years. Whatever the council decided, she had found her purpose. "What now?" she asked her companions. "Now we wait," said Maru, "and prepare." "For what?" asked Ta. Bori's golden eyes gleamed. "For the real mission, to teach the Alliance what we taught you." June looked down at the animals who had changed her life. That some battles aren't won with weapons. But with this, Maru placed his paw over his heart. As they walked through the great halls of the Alliance headquarters, other officers stopped to stare at the strange group. The famous admiral, her loyal officers, 2 humans, and the animals that walked not on leashes, but as equals. The animals that had refused to let her destroy Earth, the companions who had shown her a better way.